Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lex. Today we're going to be talking about some interview tips. I literally just got done with an interview not too long ago, which is why I'm dressed like this. And then I also have an interview later on today, so I figured I'd just keep on the attire for the video. I've been interviewing pretty consistently since I graduated back in December, so I feel as though, you know, I have enough interview experience to where I can share a couple tips with you guys. First, we're going to talk about, you know, some things to get in order before you even go into the interview. Then we're going to talk about some questions to expect at the interview and how to answer them. Then we're going to talk about some questions to ask the interviewer at the end of the interview. So we're not going to ramble. We're just going to get right into it. So first thing, you obviously want to look professional for your interview. I personally always go with a button up, just like this one. I feel as though nothing says professional more than a button-up shirt, male or female. I know a lot of females like to wear dresses and little tops and stuff to interviews, but I feel as though first impression, you want to look professional, and I feel like I said, there's no better way to look professional than to have a button-up. Even if you have a cute little blazer too to go over your button-up, that looks really good and professional as well. Also, you guys can see I have my glasses on today. I don't usually wear them, especially not on camera, but if you have glasses, wear them for the interview, because this is me regular, right? And then this is me with the glasses. Like, it just gives it just gives smart. It makes you look smart, it makes you look professional, sophisticated, all that good stuff. So if you have glasses, like I said, I would just recommend that you wear them to the interview, obviously, to give you that extra oomph, you know, the extra professional look. So another tip is you want to bring your resume in with you if it's going to be an in-person interview. So this is something that my mom actually recommended to me a minute ago, and now she's a leader in her company, so she actually does the interviewing of other people, so I'm sure her recommendation is valid. But though the interviewer is supposed to, you know, obviously have a copy of your resume going into it, it could be the case that they forgot to print it or they just don't have it, whatever the case is. Point is, you'll have your resume on hand. And I like to put it in a little cute, simple folder just like this, because then you walking into your interview with your little folder and you're just looking extra sophisticated, extra professional. It's a good look. And you can also keep your references in here, or just a blank sheet of paper if you want to jot down some notes throughout the interview, because I know that's something that I like to do. But that's mainly for if you're going to be in an in-person interview. If it's over Zoom, then you don't have to do all that, obviously. So another thing that you want to make sure that you do before you even head into the interview is to research the company that you're interviewing with. Know their mission statement, know what they're about, know what they do, know your specific job title, what that entails. Also, look into the person that you're interviewing with. I personally like to look up the interviewer on LinkedIn, get an idea of who they are, what they're about, just so I have an idea of who I'm going to be speaking to before I get into the interview. Also, when you're researching the company, find some things that you like about the company, because the interviewer is going to want to know what it is that you like about the company, what drew you to the company, stuff like that. So that's why it's really important to research the company ahead of time. And I'm sure they're going to tell you about the company throughout the interview, but it's good to have some prior knowledge going in. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some questions to expect during the interview and how to answer them. So the one obvious question is, tell me about yourself. 9 times out of 10, this is going to be the first question they ask you. And to this day, I honestly don't know the perfect way to answer it. My answer is kind of different every time. But I did do some research on, you know, what's an ideal answer for this question. And I got some notes here that I'm going to share with you guys. So me personally, I'm not working right now. So I start by saying, I just graduated in December from Hofstra University with my bachelor's degree. Damn, girl, you were talking way too fast. Hold on. What I usually say is, I just graduated in December from Hofstra University with my bachelor's degree in business administration. So I'm excited to get working. I'm excited to get into the business field. My previous job was X, Y, and Z, and da-da-da. I feel like that helped me to build up skills X, Y, and Z that I know I could implement in your company, something like that is what I say. But after doing some research, there's actually a formula on how to answer this question. So you want to talk about present, past, future, or past, present, future. So you want to talk about your past experiences and the skills that that job gave you and how it prepared you for your current job. Then you want to talk about obviously your current position, what you do, what type of skills and expertise you have gained working there, and how that is preparing you for your future job, which is hopefully with the company that you're interviewing with. So basically you want to make yourself seem just very qualified for the position that you're applying to. Next, be prepared to answer what are your strengths and weaknesses. So for strengths, obviously that's pretty straightforward. Just say your strengths. I'll share my answer. What I usually say is I'm very hardworking, I'm very self-motivated, ambitious. I'm always looking to learn. I'm always looking to grow myself personally. I'm very organized. I'm good with time management. I'm good with prioritization. I can work very well independently, and I can also work well with groups of people, stuff like that. Just whatever your personal strengths are, just make sure that it kind of relates to work in some way, shape, or form. Now for your weaknesses, this part is important, and my economics teacher, Mr. Gurney from high school, taught me this trick that when you speak about your weaknesses, you don't want to say real weaknesses, or you want to say weaknesses that are kind of strengths in a way as well. So what I usually say for my weaknesses is sometimes I can be a perfectionist. You know, I could spend a lot of time perfecting one task before I move on to the next, and sometimes that can take a lot of time. Something like that. So it's a weakness in a way, but it's not really a weakness. Like, I remember I said that in an interview not too long ago, and she was like, oh wow, perfectionist, like I wish I had that as a weakness. And it's gonna sound a little like cocky in a way, but it's like you just don't want to say real weaknesses like, oh, sometimes I'm lazy, sometimes I call out of work. Like, no, you don't want to say nothing stupid. You want to keep it, you just want to give them a whole bunch of pros about you. Pretty much. You don't have to go with my exact answer, but something along those lines. And I don't say a whole bunch of weaknesses either. That is literally the only weakness that I say. But anyway, another question to be prepared for is, why do you want to work here, or why should we hire you? So that goes back into doing some research before you even get into the interview, because like I said, you want to find out what it is that you like about the company, what draws you to the company, so that once they ask you, why do you want to work here, you can lay out, oh, because I like X, Y, and Z. You know, I like the projects that you all are working on. I like, you know, the mission statement. I like, I don't know, just whatever it is that you want to work there. But make sure that it's something, you know, about the company as well, and that it's not like, oh, because I want to get paid. Like, obviously. But the interviewer doesn't want to hear that. They want to hear an answer with some substance. You know what I mean? And then the next points that I have here are to be prepared to talk about your previous job, which we already pretty much discussed, and how has your experience prepped you for this role. So basically, you just want to make yourself seem very qualified for the role that you're interviewing for. So think of any past experience, any past job, any past non-job experience that has just prepared you and equipped you for the job that you're interviewing for. Also, you want to be prepared to answer scenario questions, because I know some companies do ask those, and it will depend on the company, but an example is, name a time you had a rude customer and how did you deal with it? Or that's not really a scenario question, or they'll ask you like actual scenario questions, like, okay, if you're applying for a bank teller job, for instance, they'll give you an example of like, okay, you're at work and you receive a fraudulent check. How do you deal with that? Or something along those lines. Just be prepared to answer scenario questions based on the job that you are applying for. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some questions to ask the interviewer once they ask you if you have any questions. Once they ask you if you have any questions, don't ever say no. Like, think of something. You want to make it seem like you're interested, like, you know, you're interactive with the interviewer. You don't want to just sit there and just nod your head and like listen to everything they're saying. You want to give them questions, because they like questions. They love questions, because that shows that you're actually interested. So some examples of some questions here that I like to ask are there opportunities for growth? That, for me, I always just want to know, because like, if I'm going to be with this company long term, and I don't necessarily want to stay in that position the whole time. I want to know if I can go up in the company, if I can make more money, get promotion, stuff like that. But also this notifies the interviewer that you're looking to stay with that company long term, because you want to know if there's opportunities to grow down the road. So that's a good look to the interviewer as well. Another question is, what does an ideal candidate look like to you? Say we're doing the bank teller example. You would ask, what does an ideal bank teller look like to you? And that way they'll break down to you exactly what it is they want you to do, what qualities they want you to possess, how they want you to perform the job, and you know, the standards that they kind of want you to live up to in that position. So they're gonna like that too, because then it shows them that you want to make sure that if you do get hired in this job, that you are doing exactly what is asked of you, and you're yeah, like I said, just living up to the interviewer's standards of what an ideal candidate looks like, or what an ideal employee looks like in that given position. Another question to ask is, how's the work culture? This one is one that is near and dear to my heart, because I can love the job that I'm doing, like completely love it. And if the work environment is toxic, I'll leave. I do not care. Like, my mental health comes first. And if I'm working in an environment that does not support my mental health, but deteriorates it, gotta go. So that's why it's good to ask that question up front, so you can get an idea, you know, what's the work culture like? What's the diversity? How's the environment? You know, just, I mean, you're gonna be working there every day. I think you should want to know. Another good question to ask is, what do you like most about working here? So I feel like that kind of softens up the interviewer a bit. That's just something that I've noticed in the interviews that I've been in. When I ask that question, you know, they're happy to answer it, and it gives you just an idea of some pros of working at that company, and you know, just what you might enjoy about it. And the last question that I have here is, what does a typical day on the job look like? I like this question because it's going to give you an exact idea of what you're going to be doing when you go into work every day. And so, you know, they're going to break that down for you. And if that doesn't sound like something that you want to do on a day-to-day basis, then that's your answer. But if it does, then that's great. But you just want to know. You don't want to, you know, show up to your first day and you're doing some stuff that like you had no clue you would be doing, or something that you don't enjoy. And yeah, you just want to know ahead of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, that completes this video. Those are all the interview tips that I have for you all. I hope this video helped you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like and a comment. Also, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified every time I upload, because I be dropping gems and you don't want to miss them when I drop them. So just hit the bell, subscribe, like, comment. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video.